All right, here we go. The connection does not look good, even though I'm plugged right into the goddamn router. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something I will ever be able to solve, which really sucks. Like if I talk to Bell, my provider, they'll say, "Did you try plugging right in?" Yeah, I do, even though it's a great inconvenience and not easily done, and I had to buy a damn adapter for it and everything. I wish, I don't know. I think it's just because of the area I'm in, so there's nothing I can do. So I don't know. It's too bad because, as I've whined and complained about many times on air here or some other show, I get so annoyed, but not just because of the connection, because of the things like it cutting out, but just like it affecting, the video quality. I have a nice camera, but you couldn't really tell. Whenever I'm on with somebody like Jay, his is always so smooth compared to mine. But anyway, let's put all that aside and hope for the best here. So speaking of Jay, he and I were supposed to do a show tonight. We're supposed to do an episode of the movie discussion Pocket Dimension, where since it was already announced, so it's not a surprise anymore, and we try to let people know it's going to be what's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. So that'll be our third film from writer director Wes Anderson, and that was supposed to be tonight, but we have to move it, so it will be next week. So if anybody's watching now, maybe that gives you a little heads up. Of course, we did put it on the Twitter, and we'll say it again to let people know. But anyway, so I decided to use that time when we would have been doing it, since I didn't have much else to do, to just do a live commentary of my own. And obviously, there are lots of options and many things I could have picked. I decided to go with something easy where I'm not going to have too much to say really about, anything too technical or anything about the making of the film or anything. I don't know. It's just a movie I want to watch because it's been a while since I've seen it. And that's about it. And it's available. It's on Disney Plus for me. I don't know if it's on Disney Plus in the US or how that works, but that's how I've got it. Don't really know about any other streaming services because I haven't looked, but I don't think it's on Netflix. But again, my Netflix is not the same as, say, Netflix for people in the US or the UK, etc. So I don't know. Never too useful anyway when I say what it's for, unless people are actually watching from Canada. And I hope sometimes some people are. But anyway, Grosse Pointe Blank, I don't know. It was a movie that was on TV in the 90s, I guess, and I would watch it. Probably maybe the first time I sort of noticed John Cusack as an actor. Found him pretty likable. That same year, he had a smaller role in the big action movie Con Air, and he was cool and likable in that. This is another one of he's in several movies with his sister Joan Cusack, and this is another one of them. I guess they work pretty well together. It's not too bad. Who else is in this? Maybe I subconsciously thought of it today because I watched the new Ghostbusters movie finally, and that does have God, I can't think of anybody's name anymore. But you know who I mean. Dan Aykroyd. And of course, Dan Aykroyd is the main character in this. Who else is in here? Minnie Driver is in here. I've completely lost track of her. I'm sure she's still around and does stuff, but quite attractive back in the 90s at least. So I don't know. It's sort of like a quirky movie. It's a romantic comedy / action movie, but a government employed sort of freelance. I don't know exactly how it works. Like assassin who attends his 10-year high school reunion. It's kind of depressing to think like how old I am now. Like I'd be at my 20-year high school reunion. But anyway, there was no 10-year, which is just as well, because just like now, back then I wouldn't want to go see anyone, and I don't think he was originally going to either. But it all comes down to an old flame, the girl that got away, blah blah. But it's enjoyable just because I don't know. It's a quirky movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so there's stuff I definitely forget. But I think I remember it pretty well because even though it's been a long time since I've seen it, I used to watch it. I've seen it a lot. I've seen this movie I'd say at least 5 times, maybe not all, start to finish all the way through every time. As I said, this was a movie that would often be on TV, maybe in the late 90s, and I would watch it. I can remember the first thing that made an impression on me in the movie is there's a scene where a guy is playing like an arcade machine in a convenience store, and he's somehow playing Doom or possibly Doom 2 on it. I don't think any such arcade machine exists, but you'll often see those sorts of anarchisms and mistakes with video games, how they're portrayed in movies. Maybe not as much now, but back in the 90s and such, anything goes. I hope one of the live commentaries I really hope to do with Jay and Orc, and they haven't had access to the movie, which makes me sad because it's so great and we all love it so much. You know, we like to do martial arts films. Is from 1994, Rumble in the Bronx. There's just a great gag in that where like when Jackie's character Kyung meets I can't remember anybody's name, but anyway, the girl who's like part of the gang anyway, and his sort of love interest or whatever, so that, and she's supporting her younger brother who's in a wheelchair, and he gives him a Game Gear to play, and there's no game in the Game Gear, but they don't seem to care, and he's always playing it, and there's weird like random video game sounds coming up like beep boop 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 when he's playing it. I don't know, I was gonna kick at stuff like that. There's quite a few interesting mistakes in that movie because they didn't really care. I mean, it's called Rumble in the Bronx, obviously set in New York City, and yet it's very clearly not there. It's in Vancouver, and there's even a couple scenes like on rooftops where you can see like mountains sort of off in the distance, which you would definitely not see from anywhere in New York City. But anyway, I really hope we do get around to doing that one. There is some martial arts stuff in this movie, which is one of the reasons I like it, and we will get to that. Anyway, there's not much else to say. This doesn't need a big intro. I'm just sort of stalling for time in case, I don't know, on the off chance anybody wants to look for it and queue it up and watch along. I don't know. That doesn't seem likely on a night like this, but you never know. So, I don't know. Give people a little bit more of a chance, although they don't really have much else to say in anticipation for it. I know the movie has a really cool soundtrack. It's sort of an interesting mix of like, 90s rock at the time with some of the more classic rock. Has a pretty extensive soundtrack. I think 2 soundtrack albums released, and there were still songs, that were in the movie that did not get put on any soundtrack. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure Minnie Driver's character is like a radio DJ, so music plays a big part in it. I don't know. I mean, everybody likes music, so it's not like saying somebody likes music, but I mean, it seems clear to me that John Cusack is sort of like a big music guy, being in this movie, and then a couple years later, actually a film that Jay and I did cover for the movie discussion pocket dimension. What is it called? High Fidelity, which is all about music too, where he plays a guy that owns a record store. There's record snobs. I remember in that movie, there's a whole conversation. Well, maybe or at least we see part of a conversation. It's off to the side of the main plot where Jack Black or the other employee are talking to somebody that come in. They're talking about the band Echo and the Bunnymen, who are featured in this movie. Is that a coincidence? Does it matter? I don't know. Maybe John Cusack's a big fan. I don't know. But anyway, it's a pretty cool movie. I get a kick out of it. It's, nothing special or amazing. I don't even know if it has really cult classic status. Probably not, but it's at least a movie some people like, I suppose. George Armitage. That's what I was looking at. I was trying to see who directed George Armitage. In a movie called Miami Blues that I've never seen. Yeah, I mean, this is his only movie that I've seen, but he did only a couple movies, and this is easily his most well-known. He did some sort of like movies back in the 70s, nothing in the 80s, Miami Blues in 1990. Grosse Pointe Blank 97, a movie called The Big Bounce in 2004. It's also a screenwriter for stuff I don't know. So not exactly a very prominent or well-known director or anything like that, but it's a good enough movie. I enjoy it. Certainly, as I said, back in like the late 90s, is a movie that would come on TV I'd watch, just like Broken Arrow, which might hold the record for most watches by a movie I've never owned and never streamed and never watched on like a disc or VHS or anything. Or it's possible the first time I watched Broken Arrow was VHS. It's possible like Ryan rented it, because I remember the first time we watched it in Ryan's basement, and maybe that was like a VHS that we had rented, and I don't recall. But after that, it was just always watching on TV, and I've never streamed it, but I should, because I like that. Hell, I'll probably do a live commentary of that someday. But actually, my last live commentary, what was it? It was a John Woo movie. It was my favorite John Woo movie. It was well, you can look back, but it was Hard Boiled. So that was the last live commentary I've done. And I've rambled on long enough. Like I said, this movie does not need or require any sort of big intro, so we will get into it. So for me, the way it is on Disney Plus is the first logo that pops up is, I think it's called Hollywood Pictures, and has like a picture of a Sphinx, and then it goes from there. So I don't know. That's how it starts for me. I know sometimes depending upon what you're streaming it on or where you're from, sometimes these movies have like the production company logos and things. Like some have ones that aren't in others, and sometimes they show up in a different order. Anyway, this is the best I can do. So here you go. We're going to do the traditional 3, 2, 1 push play thing. So here we go. Grosse Pointe Blank coming at you. 3, 2, 1, hit it. And it's probably already too loud like it always is. We'll adjust the volume. And there goes my camera, which doesn't like me moving. Come on, camera. Don't fuck up on me. Hopefully it will refocus. Come on. Usually this works. Give it my hand to focus. I know people aren't so interested in looking at me, but I don't like looking like there's a bunch of Vaseline on the lens of the camera either. That's better. All right, Hollywood Pictures Presents is what we're at. Trying to position it so that when I'm looking at the movie, I don't look like I'm looking far from it. Nice song. I think this song is mostly associated, if you're talking about movies, what is it? Cool Runnings. I think this song like is the end credits for Cool Runnings. Anyway, very nice song. I can see clearly. Bright sunshiny day. I won't sing as much as I like to. I can't promise I won't sing along to any of these songs as we get going. I don't know. Definitely a different role for Dan Aykroyd. He's basically the villain of the movie, even though he doesn't have much screen time, and he makes the most of it. I remember they have that weird popcorn thing. Popcorn, ding, ding, ding. I don't know. We'll get to it. Should not be drinking pop. I mostly kicked it in the last while, but I got a Pepsi here. Oh shit, that's right. Like a lot of John Cusack movies, Jeremy Piven's in here. I really hate Jeremy Piven. I just want to punch him. Always wanted to punch him. And I mean, he leans into it because that's kind of the characters he plays, like smarmy, annoying guys. He's too good at it. Jeremy Piven's probably an okay guy, He's just one of those people that he's so good at being smarmy and annoying on screen that I kind of like just think of him as him. All right, so we got here. So yeah, so his like secretary / like handler is Joan Cusack. So right, original score composed by Joe Strummer. So that's an interesting thing too. There's not a lot of original score going on in this movie since there's so many songs, but then you've got Joe Strummer from the frickin' Clash. Whew, excuse me. Sorry, I gotta stop the pop. Yeah, so nice cold open here of him taking out a target. Jerk on a bike. Never angle this right. Is he trying to stop? So yes, the guy he's taken out, he stopped him because that guy was trying to he assassinated the assassin. So, they show that our guy is a paid killer or whatever, but the idea is, he killed bad people. All right, so here we go. So he's from the class of 86. Suggesting this movie that came out in 97 takes place in the summer of 96. Hank Azaria's in this movie somewhere too. I probably won't recognize him. Oh, is that Cusack? Not Cusack. Is that Dan Aykroyd? Part of me wants to like just say everything that's happening. That's a stupid thing to do. I'm assuming the people watching this are watching the movie, so we all saw what happened there. The guy died anyway, including his security detail, as some mysterious guy dressed as a bellhop hold him down, and that will be the end of my narration for the most part, I hope. Yeah. So Grosse Pointe Blank, or Grosse Pointe, that's in Michigan, right? Like he's down in California, but I think his hometown's Michigan. We'll see. Grocer, okay. Yeah, so Grocer's like, I'm not sure. He's not exactly an enemy, but you know how it is. And like this world that doesn't really exist in real life of like assassins. It's like, I don't know. He's like a rival. They know each other professionally. Oh, here he is. Where is that Grocer? I don't know anybody's name in this. I should look at the cast to see the characters' names. Yeah, he's Grocer, yeah. So what's this thing here? Yeah, he's trying to, yeah. Embarrassing overlaps, yeah. So. Trying to put something together. Reminiscing. You gotta turn it up a little. It'll be okay. I mean, I've got the captions on that, but still, I still strain to hear it. I can't help it. All right, so Rocher has this offer of like, I don't know, maybe going independent or something, putting together a group of these assassin types to work together, and our guy, whose name, of course, is Blank, Martin Blank. No, he turns him down. I guess it's not just he doesn't like Gross, or he doesn't like the way he works or something. You know how it is. But he's saying, no, come on, join it. He says, I'll think about it. Yeah, popcorn, yeah, and they do that at the end. Spoilers, they're going to have a gunfight at the end. I mean, yeah. Oh, I guess it's not Michigan, because he said Pacific Northwest. Got to pay more attention. Got to get the geography straight. I actually really do care about that. I don't know. I don't understand people that don't care about geography in the real world and in fictional worlds too. To me, it's very important to always know when you have events, things, you know, where they're happening in relation to each other, how far away they are, and things like that. I think that's one of the things that, like, really, I'm not going to go on about this, but I mean, I'm reading the Song of Ice and Fire books again in the hope that when I finish, you know, I've done this about 3 or 4 times the last few years. Read all the Song of Ice and Fire books. They take a long time. They're long books. And by the time you're finished, the 6th one will finally be out. No, fuck you, George Martin. George R. Martin. Not the famous Beatles producer, long dead. But anyway, I was going to say, like, so when they made the show, the Game of Thrones show, which a lot of people got mad at for the later seasons, but I got mad way before that. I left during the 4th season. Like, people said, oh, the problem was, you know, they ran out of material eventually from the books, so they had to go their own way and make up their own stuff. It wasn't as good. That is a problem. But the thing is, for me, they fucked up way before that. They still had plenty of book in front of them. They had plenty of book to draw from when, you know, for me, it's about midway through season 4. There were already cracks and changes I didn't like, but I just couldn't take it anymore. But anyway, my point is, as that show went on, even though I didn't watch it, like, they had some problems with the geography too. Like, I mean, it was good. It shows the map at the start of the movie or the show and let you know. But sometimes, like, you know, characters would just suddenly be in one place and then another, and it wouldn't give you a sense that any time had passed. When really, you know, it would take like weeks of travel from them to get from place to place. So anyway, things like that bother me. So it's important to me to know where things are geographically in movies. This one, not so much. So what we got? Another job, a late night job. I kind of remember this. Kind of. Got some 90s tech going on here with a fiber optic camera. This is the year after the first Mission Impossible movie, where stuff like that really, I don't know, became kind of all the rage. Are you? I mean, you're just here to kill them. That's all you do. You kill people. You're not here to steal anything or. What are you doing? Yeah, it shows that he can do things besides just shoot people. So he's doing this whole thing where he's very elaborately gonna poison this guy, I guess. Injecting from up in the, yeah. It's pretty cool. I like how the poison is like blue. It's very, very visual. Oh, and he turned his head. Not so much for doing it slow, you know, cool and quiet. Now it is time for the gun. I like how silencers sound in movies, because apparently they don't sound like that at all in real life. Like, silencers don't even work that well in real life. Yeah, it's not me. Sort of sums up his character. Like, I'm, you know, this is a job. It's nothing personal. Seen that a lot of times, but still. What is she wearing? She's dressed like fucking Michael Jackson. Sure, I've seen Michael Jackson wear a shirt like that. Blouse, whatever. Only a few minutes in. It's annoying. You can't really do. I can't really do a timestamp without. Oh yes, I can. 10:04, 10:05. So yeah, there you go. If anybody's interested or wondering, what do you do at the office when you're not killing people? Yeah. So they're mad now about how he handled the last job because he was forced to shooting the guy. They want it to look like an accident or a natural death or whatever, not a murder. So, I mean, obviously something's going to drive the action where people are going to be sent after him eventually. So maybe this is it. Yeah, they say he has to make amends for his mistake here. That's also something that happens a lot in these movies. It was a little different, but sometimes, I've seen several movies which is like the killer is probably where they all spring from, although there might be more. I mean, I guess they really all spring from The Samurai, another film that Jay and I did. The idea of a, cold, passionless killer. Yeah, it is Michigan. Okay, so they weren't talking about that earlier when they said, he calls her Sergeant Pepper because of the weird code thing I referenced. Anyway, so obviously when they were talking about Pacific Northwest, they were talking about something else. I'm right. Grosse Pointe is in Michigan, maybe somewhere near Detroit. I don't know. So now it's not like he's purposely going specifically for the reunion. He's going there for some other reason, but the reunion's happening. That's right, of course. He's got a fake identity to travel with. Dr. Oatman, you're right. So, again, this might have been novel at the time. You have a professional assassin, talking. Is this Hank Azaria? Who's Dr. Oatman? No, Alan Arkin. It's Alan Arkin. I guess if I waited another few seconds, I would have noticed that it's Alan Arkin, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm not great at recognizing people. Yeah, so he really stretches the doctor-patient confidentiality thing here, because I mean, honestly, Alan Arkin, or he explains it to him. What is this? He's emotionally involved, so he can't be his doctor. Yeah, he's worried. He's like, "You told me you've killed people and that you're a killer, and I'm, I mean, obviously, if somebody in his position really did come and tell this, like, you can break that because it's not just like saying that he's killed people, but he also says, like, I intend to kill more people. So the psychiatrist or therapist or whoever, they are legally allowed, in fact, encouraged to report them. But yeah, if you're thinking about, I mean, they're saying it. If you're thinking about committing crime, I have to report to the authorities. And then he goes, and I know where you live. See, that's what you do. So he does sort of bully him into being his psychiatrist or therapist or whatever like that. Oh man, he's a fraud. Books were ghostwritten. My eyes are really bugging me. Sorry, tugging on the mesh there. Oh, there goes the connection again. Barely working. So disappointing. So depressing. Anyway. I remember he says, like, go. I remember a bit of what he says here. He's like, go check it out, mingle with people, hang out, try not to kill anybody. Let's see what the line is. I mean, his justification. If I show up your door, you did something to bring me there. Yeah. It's like, I don't just kill people randomly or whatever. I don't think what a person does for a living reflects who he is. I agree with that too, but it is kind of a stretch when you do what he does. Debbie, that must be Minnie Driver. Yeah, Debbie Newberry. Some ways, this is like a movie that followed the year after something about Mary, because it was also about, a guy that was really hung up on the girl he liked in high school. I guess that's probably a pretty common thing. I got over mine fairly quickly, but I mean, there wasn't much history there. In my case, in high school, it was just pining after a girl that didn't have any interest in me. So it's not like we had any real history. Like, we knew each other and we were not exactly friends, but anyway, it was unrequited, and I watched her date jerks, and it sucked. So I moved on and had relationships and didn't think about her. Now I pine over different things. But I sure as fuck wouldn't go to my high school reunion, I'll tell you that much. Way back in 2002, a year after I'd gotten out of high school, when I was the first time I was ever working as a reporter, the first summer I worked as a reporter, worked for the Cape Breton Post, and one of the stories I covered was I attended the 25th reunion of my own high school. They were the class of 1977. So they were all in their early 40s, I guess, is what they'd be for 25th. So most of them were, married and had kids and stuff like that. It was fun though, because technically I have attended a high school reunion, and it was my school, Sydney Academy. Go Wildcats, or whatever the fuck they're called now. That's got to be like one of the most generic and used sports names in schools. But it was blue and white, which are Sydney colors. I was a Sydney Steeler in hockey, and also when I played soccer, so I was always blue and white. Of course, I'm a Leafs fan, so that worked. And then when I came here, went to Kings, and Kings' colors are blue and white. And I wore it one last time when I played hockey in the Intramurals League. We won that championship. I was probably the worst player on my team. I wasn't that good. But, it was a good team. They were nice guys. Nobody ever made me feel, like I didn't belong or like I sucked or I was a liability. I thought I played pretty well. I'm just saying a lot of them were way better than me, Okay, so here we go. Lots of music. Oh, these are the two guys on him, right? Right, I don't know them. They're following him around. I don't know if they're necessarily there to kill him or just keep an eye on him to make sure he does whatever he's supposed to be doing. I'm not sure if they're there to kill him necessarily, or only kill him if he doesn't do whatever it is they want him to do or something like that. Right, so as soon as he's in, he hears, that'd be something. Go back to your hometown, and you turn on the radio in your car, and you hear the voice of your old high school sweetheart. Because in this case, they were in a relationship. They really did date. I think he stood her up at prom. And that was the end of that. And he joined the army and eventually got drafted into something else to do this. For being more or less, not exactly a psychopath, but definitely somebody that lacked certain things. He talks a little about it. There are different degrees of it, You see it in the movies all the time, like psychopaths, sociopaths. This is supposed to be, our hero, sort of, so they can't make him full on psychopath, even though he's a killer. He's supposed to be a nice guy that we root for, and it works for me. Look, he can even see her through the window. I guess they're soundproof windows. In my experience, radio DJs aren't in rooms right on the edges of the building with windows, but maybe they are. Obviously they'd have to be soundproof. The first thing he does, not only hear her voice, but then he pulls up in the car and they lock eyes for a few seconds. My hometown is small, but I tell you, if I go back, unless I like go to her house or something, I'm not gonna find, plus when we stayed in my hometown. I didn't get far. It's not like I'm so far off Halifax. It's not that far really, but there's some Joe Strummer for you. So the high school. Oh, it was old teachers. Yeah, so Detroit, technically. I don't know. They always portray. This is the only movie I've ever seen that sort of portrays Detroit as nice. Usually, movies portray Detroit as like a hellhole, and there's like no nice parts of it. But this, these are all nice neighborhoods and stuff that we see. Although another movie that Jay and I covered takes place in Detroit was this Suicide. What is it? The Virgin Suicides. That shows some nice parts of Detroit in the 70s, kind of right before the decline happened. Of course, the whole thing with the auto industry, etc. It's a pretty big school by the looks of it. So there's the Guns N' Roses cover of Live and Let Die, the Paul McCartney song. It's not bad. I mean, I hate Guns N' Roses, but it's not a bad cover. Guns N' Roses is just another one of those bands where, like, actually a lot of their music sounds fine to me. It's just like I hate Axl so much. Get that off my chest. I hate Axl Rose. I hated him then. I hate him now. And not just like as he is a shitty person. He definitely is. But like I don't like his voice or anything. Like I actually really like the song "Sweet Child of Mine." I think it's an excellent song. I just want to hear anybody else sing it. I don't want to hear Axl. And I know for like GNR fans, that's like blasphemy because they love his voice. So this is a good scene. Or event. I don't know. Does he come back to this? Because I mean, I remember the convenience store scene pretty easily. I mean, pretty well. Yeah. See there, you got a Doom 2 arcade cabinet. I don't think that exists in real life, but it sure is cool. Oh, is this where his house used to be? Okay, that's why he's in here. Because his house used to be where this convenience store is. Okay, it's coming back to me. He's coming in and acting very creepy and aggressive, and it's about to get really bad. See, the fact that he has a cell phone in 1997 is actually a little not odd, but I mean, obviously back then not everybody had them, but a jet-setting guy like him who's always so busy. So here he is calling up. Yeah, it was funny. I remember. Yeah, he's calling up Dr. Oatman, and Oatman won't pick up, so he's just leaving the messages. He's trying to ignore them. I know you're there, Oatman. So there's the two guys. Okay, so they are there to kill him, but somebody else comes and tries to kill him, and that's the better part of the movie. And we'll talk about that when we get there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so he does leave for now. I mean, eventually he comes back. Let's just see. Okay, no, eventually he comes back. So now he's wandering around trying to find his mother, who I guess is in some retirement home. This I don't remember so well. But obviously, to live the life he lives, he doesn't really have any attachments. Well, his mother recognizes him right off. He must keep in touch with her in some ways. I mean, obviously, she's not even that old. He's only supposed to be like in his late 20s, so he wouldn't have a super old mom at this point. Right. So it's not like, yeah. She's not old, but I guess she's got some mental issues or something. She's not all there. You want a timestamp? We're at 25 minutes right now. 25 minutes. Yeah, so this cat's kind of sad. His mom, who is not an old woman, is in this place and obviously can't take care of herself and is not completely in touch with reality. It's kind of a bummer for a movie that's a comedy, but I guess it's a dark comedy, as they say. We are going to shoot some people. But not like not like the last one I did, which just gets crazy. You know, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I can't remember anything. My brain is fleeing in and out. I thought, I wanted to do this because I was feeling sharp and alert, and now I'm like losing it. No, hard boiled. Yeah, the last one I did, hard boiled, which has like more shooting than most war movies. But this is a different sort of movie. Comedy, romance, a little bit of action. It's at his dad's grave. Victor Allen Blank died in '89. So he died shortly, a few years after Martin graduated. John Cusack's had some weird roles over the years since this. Like he's like the main character in the movie 2012, I think, which I've never seen. Like usually most movies that I know him from, he's not the main guy. He's like a supporting guy. But this movie he's the main guy, and I really like him and I enjoy him. But I can't think of a lot. I really want to see War Inc., which is one of those movies that sort of fell through the cracks where he's the main guy, I think, too. I think it was the movies that did some like social commentary, sort of talking about like this, during the second war in Iraq. I mean, he just walks in. What kind of station is this? Radio station. Again, stuff like this bothers me in movies. I mean, and actually, she does have reason to really like be mad at him and not like him. But in movies like this, they always make it seem like stalking your ex or whatever is totally cool and romantic, and she'll react in a positive way. Now, she doesn't react super positively here, but still, she doesn't do what like would happen if I went and met some ex. And you're gonna say, what happened between you and your exes? Were they horrible? I mean, maybe, kind of. I don't know. I do know that if I just went to one of them at work, yeah, and now they're making out furiously. Doesn't happen, people. And she says nothing. There, now she's talking about him vanishing after prom night. I guess part of it is maybe the mystery. She's curious. I mean, he does tell several people in the movie that he's a professional killer, and they just laugh it off because they think he's joking. He doesn't say it to her, though, because maybe he knows she knows him well enough that she'd know he's not joking. I don't know. I'm out California way. What's your business? What's he say here? Oh, he does say professional killer. Yeah. So every time he tells somebody he's a professional killer, they just brush it off and play along like it's a joke. She says, "Do you get dental with that?" That was brief. mean, she even mentions it on air or something. Yeah, something's come to me out of the past. I've never heard radio shows like that either, where like I mean, who listens to radio nowadays? I guess it's all podcasts, but she's out there like literally talking about what just happened. I mean, not in great detail, but there he goes. He has cryptic things and is gone abruptly again. Now you need to find an appropriate song for that. Does she own the goddamn station so she can just say whatever she wants on air? Long lost love of my life. Wow. Yeah, maybe 10 years. Try it in 20. It won't work out so well. I said it was brief, so he decided to come back and be interviewed? You can't have dead air. That's like the #1 rule of radio. You have to keep talking. You can't have dead air. You have to say something. So you're going to question him on it? Yeah, on air. Natural chemistry. God, I miss those days. Ooh, $700 80s money. That's a lot of money. Why did he go back in? Nothing good can come of this. Oh yeah, now I remember. So yeah, so the two guys tracking him are listening to all this because they've been following him and now they're listening to this. One of them calls in. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, one of them's gonna call in. I don't remember exactly what he says, but we will find out together. Damn eye, just driving me nuts all night. Or do I call security? There's security in this building? Because, I mean, he just waltzed right in twice. She's, again, very interesting person. Because he says, maybe we could just talk about this privately. And she's like, no way. Let's talk about this on air, yo. It's 80s weekend. Even in 1997, people were feeling nostalgic for the 80s. I'm not of that age group. I feel nostalgic for the 90s, even the early 2000s. No, you have to talk to all these people that just call up. Nathaniel. You can wear the prom dress. That's creative. Yeah. This guy's going to call. Mm-hmm. Is that Hank Azaria? That was kind of pointless. I guess they wanted to vaguely threaten him. All right, then. No. Love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's broken. See that? Now that makes more sense. Because that's usually what it is. Your exes don't want to see you. All right, so here's the interesting guy. There's another player in this game, rather short, odd-looking man, and that is champion American kickboxer Benny the Jet Urquidez. Benny the Jet had quite a career as a kickboxer in the 70s and the 80s, fighting in various tournaments and leagues all throughout the world. He had a great record, and of course, back in those days, things weren't regulated the same. So, weight classes were, he was a small guy. It's like 5'6", 5'7". But, oh, there he is running into Jeremy Piven. But anyway, fantastic career. And you can look him up on YouTube, all sorts of great highlights. And of course, this is not his first time in a movie or anything. He's got two very famous on-screen fights against Jackie Chan. The first one being probably the most famous in the 1984 film Wheels on Meals. They have a fight that many people consider the greatest hand-to-hand fight ever, in a movie. So that's pretty high praise. Then they have another fight in Dragons Forever a couple of years later. Not quite as good, but still very good. And of course, he's been around the movie scene before this too. Even if he's not always in the movie, or he's probably at least, the movie Roadhouse. In Roadhouse, I don't know what he was. He was like fight coordinator, stunt coordinator, something like that. But anyway, he worked very closely, choreographing the fight scenes, of which there are quite a few in Roadhouse. And I think he got sort of fairly close friends with Patrick Swayze, who was a karate black belt, and they worked together, and he helped him do his best in that movie. And of course, what people might not know is that another karate black belt is our friend here, John Cusack, and you get a little bit of this later. Yeah, so now he just keeps running into guys that he went to school with. This guy's a cop. He's not really a cop. He's like a security guy. Oh, it's a security company. Right. Yeah. Pretty lame. Pretty lame. So you're going to tell him that he's authorized to use deadly force. So you're just a shill. I got it. But anyway, we will get to see Benny the Jet, or Kid is, a little later. Well, I mean, we see him, but actually, do stuff. So this movie, that's one thing I like. And of course, way back in the day when I saw this in the 90s, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know who he was. I just thought he was some stunt guy, actor. Didn't look into it. No idea that he was this champion kickboxer, or he'd been in movies with Jackie Chan, or worked with Patrick Swayze, the Sways, or any of that. But I mean, I'll always be a fan of him, like a lot of some of the big martial arts stars now. Of course, he's not a big martial arts movie star, but I mean, a real life kickboxer. He's a small guy. Being a sort of smaller person myself, I've always, admired the idea of that. Like, if you're good at martial arts, you can take out bigger, heavier, stronger opponents. Benny the Jet certainly did. As I said, nowadays you watch the UFC and stuff like that. There's not really much size difference because they're all in various weight classes. But if you go back far enough, the weight classes either didn't exist or they bled together. And there were definitely some times, and this is not MMA, this is kickboxing, with different rules and styles all over the place back in the 70s and 80s. So there were some times where Benny fought guys who were way bigger than him. But he's the real deal. He's not one of those like fake martial artists where like it's like his record is 75-2 and blah blah blah. You can't you can find it. Again, some of it is a little sketchy because of how far back some of it is, but I mean he's not some fake poser guy. He was a fantastic martial artist and a real fighter. Something that's interesting is I remember there's a couple channels I watch on YouTube about stuff like that. And there's a guy that interviewed some of these guys, and when interviewing Benny, he talked about working with Jackie Chan, and he said, on the first movie they did together, Wheels on Meals, Jackie, of course, was aware of who he was, and they talked about having like an actual fight, just to see, what would happen. But he said, I kept asking him, he kept putting it off, and it became pretty clear that we weren't actually going to fight. But then the interviewer or whatever pressed him, said, what do you think of Jackie's skills? I mean, everybody knows how awesome he is and all the things he can do, but I mean, what do you think about him being like an actual fighter, like in kickboxing, like you did? And to me, Benny doesn't have to like lie or, make something up just to sound like, he has no reason to. It's just a YouTube channel. And he said, Jackie had everything. He could have been not just a great kickboxer, but a champion kickboxer. He said he had it all. So that's kind of interesting because, one thing that happens a lot is sometimes when you look at martial artists that do movies as opposed to like, the real life fighting and stuff like that. A lot of people are like, well, it's all show or they're fake tough guys and blah, 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 But, I don't think so. I mean, maybe some of them. There's definitely some fake tough guys. My favorite being Steven Seagal. But I'm just saying, people saying, like Jet Li couldn't really fight. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying, oh, he could kill 20 people like he does in a movie. That's a movie. But but especially people that are really addicted to like the MMA stuff. Okay, so here he's in the we went off on a little tangent. We'll come back to Benny the Jet. But anyway, Benny, look him up. Awesome guy, awesome career, legit, not a fake guy. And he's worked with some really cool movie stars and contributed to some great action in movies, including this movie. Like, yeah. This might be the most likable character I've ever seen Jeremy Piven play. Like, he's a moron, but he is likable. And he's the one he tells the truth to. And, well, can I join up? Like, he eventually does find out for real, but he is the same thing, Like, he pretty much tells everyone it's a professional killer, and nobody believes him, including this guy. But eventually, this guy sees some of it. But anyway, yeah, I think this is the most likable Jeremy Piven character we've seen. That does not make him super likable. It just means I don't actually want to punch him in the face. Like, he's an idiot, but he's an idiot in a fun way in this movie. Yeah. I wish I could go back to my hometown and everybody be this excited to see me. Nobody would give a shit. It's not like I haven't been back. I mean, I go back every few months and see nobody, keep a low profile. No one knows I was, no one even knows I was there. At least not people like my age. I guess if I was a professional killer, I would attend my high school reunion because I'd be proud of that. Because I don't know. At least in this world, being a professional killer means like he's, fairly financially well off and everything. He's wearing cool suits. He's got his cell phone, which in 1997 was sort of a big deal. He could impress some people. What am I going to impress people with? We're getting a little too real. Leave it. So what's happening here? She's going to find out some stuff. Because at this point, he still doesn't know that anybody's after him. I mean, he probably thought the phone call was a little odd, but they're like, we like tough guys like you. I like that they're siblings that don't remind me of each other, too. I mean, you see like Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal. Someone tells you that they're, brother and sister. You're like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I don't really see it with these two. They don't look or sound similar to me. I wonder what their age difference is. I'll have to look it up. I guess she's older than him. Oh, here we go. So here we go. This is some good stuff. This is what I remember most. So it is the employee himself, because I was wondering, somebody has to be playing that thing. So the employee himself is playing the game while he's got his headphones on. Which is interesting because, I mean, it's not like the game doesn't have its own soundtrack, although it is true. It's not like Doom has a kicking soundtrack. So I guess he's listening to some. There we go. Benny the Jet is here. Opens up on him. John Woo style. Have a nice little John Woo battle here. Wrecking up the place. Well, the guy plays Doom is oblivious. Good stuff. Yeah. At least it shows him reloading, which is more than you ever see in like most John Woo films. He actually is reloading. Is he listening to Ace of Spades by? I'm trying to figure out what heavy metal song he's listening to, because they go back and forth. It sounds like Motorhead. Oh, I think it is. I think it's Ace of Spades by Motorhead, which is, of course, their most famous song. And inconclusive. Benny the Jet takes off. Oh, but he left a nice surprise for him in the microwave. He does the right thing. He saves the guy. Or does he? He tries? Yeah, he goes back one. Red Wings. Nice. Boom. So that's the scene I definitely remember the most and always think of when I think of this movie. the shootout in there, and then the guy playing Doom while listening to Motorhead and it exploding. It's like, what you put in that microwave, man? Or I don't know. Let's see what the line is. Do you have a good line like that, convenience store guy? What do you do that for? That's kind of boring. That was the only Doom 2 arcade machine in the world, and now it's gone. You fucker. I get a little further away, but I guess he's satisfied that the unknown assassin is gone. He says seeing her didn't go as planned, but I mean, they got to at least make out for a few seconds. That's more than most people get. Hippo Club. That's pretty cool. And like most people in a movie, she, at least in this, like she deliberately like sort of hangs up on him. Because as usual, like people never like say goodbye in movies. Like, I'll meet you there. All right. I tried doing that to be more dramatic, and it just pissed people off. Because the proper thing to do is say goodbye so that they know the conversation is over. So what's he gonna? So here he. I mean, obviously, eventually she's gonna find out, but I think it's Jeremy Piven that finds out first. Let's see. Understand, people? We are coming up to 46 minutes and 30 seconds. Just in case. Just in case. Oh, she was married. Forgot that little detail. Or she's not married now, but she was married. Good word for it. Psychotic. I mean, yeah, he's lucky she was really in love with him. Bad experiences. Bad people. So apparently they shot multiple endings for this movie. They couldn't really figure out how that ended. And the ending that we see, I think, is the last one they shot because they were sort of having trouble coming up with what they thought was a satisfying ending. It doesn't really go on from what I've read to describe the differences in those endings. Presumably, in all of them, he still lives because I did read, it was important to the director, he said that he'd done that Miami movie in 1990, and Alec Baldwin's character dies, and he said a lot of people were upset about that. Oh, hi, Holiday Styles. It's been a while. Just sure you've been around, and I just didn't notice. I did mention Con Air. That was probably the first time I noticed John Cusack when he played the supporting guy in Con Air. Well, I mean, I'm actually here because Jay's unavailable. That's why. Because Jay and I actually were supposed to do our show tonight, and Jay had to drop out, and we were scheduled for next week. And since I had the time, that's why I decided to do this one. So, as far as work goes, he's erratic. It's more erratic than I am, so it's hard to get that. Yeah, so I'm doing solo here, just because I didn't want to go too late, and since I started, kind of without warning, I didn't want to wait around. So it's just me. So I know it's kind of boring. Serial killer set in Canada. Is that John Cusack? It sounds like something I've seen. I have seen a lot of things that he's in. But yeah, I love Con Air. One of the better action movies of the 90s. I like The Rock more. I like Broken Arrow more. And obviously, talking foreign, said the last movie I did, the last live commentary I did my favorite John Woo movie, which is Hard Boiled. Yeah, there's Aykroyd. Oh, Aykroyd's here. Yeah, I mean, I knew he eventually showed up. This is earlier, I thought. So these guys work for him, right? Okay. Right. So again, they're still technically on the government payroll or something because they're saying, yeah, they're not technically assassins. They do work for the government. They're saying we can't kill him, just kill him. We have to, catch him doing something illegal. So yeah, the guy that Benny Urquidez is playing is obviously some rogue agent because he didn't have any problem opening up on him in the convenience store there, and he'll be back, of course. We have not seen the last of him. He's supposed to be a French guy. They must mention his name at some point. We'll see, because I remember the name. Maybe that's something worth talking about. I have no idea what the last thing I saw Minnie Driver in was. And by last thing, I mean like latest release. Completely lost track of her. Should look it up and see how she's aged. Yeah, I really like Dan Aykroyd in this. It's sort of a different role for him, and it's pretty funny and quirky. Dan Aykroyd has an odd, very uneven career as far as picking the movies that he's in, but I think subconsciously, I was going to get around to this movie anyway, but today I watched the new Ghostbusters movie, Afterlife, and he's, of course, in that. So maybe that put the thought in my head. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have any sort of strong feelings about that movie. I'm not a Ghostbusters fan. Like, I like the movie. The first movie is a great movie, and I really like it. But I'm not like a Ghostbusters franchise person. Like, even though I was the right age, I watched the cartoon, but I was not really that into it. The second movie is okay. It's nothing great. And then, whatever else there is, I'm not never really my thing. So when it wasn't a big deal to see Afterlife. So when it became available, I didn't even watch it right away. So I finally watched it today, and it was okay. Saying to someone else, I realize, of course, that in the world of Ghostbusters, ghosts can be anywhere. They're not some localized phenomenon. They could be anywhere. But for whatever, I just really associate the Ghostbusters world with New York City. So seeing a movie that's out, in some rural area, it felt kind of not like Ghostbusters to me, I guess. It was still pretty good, I guess. But Dan Aykroyd's in that, of course. But yeah. All right, so now we're getting some info on the guys following him. But they are not who shot at him in the convenience store. Yeah. This guy's a badass. Felix La Poubelle. So that's kind of a joke. La Poubelle means the garbage. And not like literal garbage. Poubelle in French refers to like, where you would put the garbage, like the bin or whatever. That's what poubelle means. So basically saying this guy's a trash, he's the trash can is kind of it's kind of funny. They said something about him working out of Basque or something. That's cool. It's just like, get out of there, they'll kill you. I know it's for a role, but I can just imagine my sister referring to me as sir. That would be crazy. So he's in one of those 80s teen movies. He's in Say Anything. I don't remember that movie well enough to know if there's any callbacks to that in this movie. Because, I mean, this whole thing is, about how he was in high school in the 80s and, stood her up at prom in 86 and stuff. I wonder, is there anything in this movie that, like, calls back or references the Say Anything movie? Because that's, him at that age. I don't know. I wonder. I think those two guys are technically NSA. Then you've got La Poubelle, who's just some sort of rogue assassin who obviously does not care about laws or anything. Is he gonna have another encounter here? I remember him wearing the hat. Let's see where this goes. Where are we at, people? It is not that late, really. It's coming up on 55 minutes. We're at 54, 55. Yeah, maybe 55 minutes in just a moment. Oh no, he's come to her house. Her father's in this. Does she live with her father? I can't remember. Or she's just staying with her father. She just said no in a weird Jamaican accent, but she said no, but then she says yes. That's again how these things work in movies. Do you want to see me? No, I don't. Are you sure? Okay, I do. Come in. Yeah, that always works. Oh, and there's the Clash poster, of course. Oh, that's interesting. Her apartment burned down on Devil's Night. Very Detroit. Very Detroit. I mean, in '97, you believe that? I don't know, dude. Like young people, if they watch this movie now, do they even know what the fuck Devil's Night is? Plus, it is sort of a regional thing. Like Detroit was sort of the ground zero for it, but also other parts of the northeastern United States, and definitely out here, eastern Canada, Quebec, and the Maritimes. It was a thing here. It never got really crazy or out of hand, but oh, she's got one of those cool Viewmaster things. I've got one of those, not here, but somewhere. It had dinosaurs on it. Okay, I suppose this is supposed to be some sort of callback to when they were sweethearts. He's giving her an airplane. Just do another accent. Minnie Driver, what is your ethnicity? Are you allowed to do Jamaican accents? See, what is this bullshit? Okay, you can go now. Like I mean, I wouldn't exactly call it passive aggressive, but again, like she's being awfully kind and sweet, and then she's like, okay, it's weird. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Yes, I've seen the Frozen Ground. Yeah, Nick Cage is like the cop or whatever. Wow. If Cusack himself was the killer, I guess I forgot. But yeah, I remember the actual killer, and I remember the movie. Yeah. I guess these guys are living out of the car. So they're shaving and brushing their teeth in the car. They couldn't get a hotel room. Little talk about point of view, who's the good guys, who's the bad guys. All right, fair enough. Another black car. Grocer has like the same black car. Yes, I remember this. They have a nice little awkward confrontation in the diner here. I'm sure there's nothing conspicuous or suspicious about that bag. Ah, yes, one of these conversations where they both have guns pointed at each other. Nice. Red Wings need a new goon. 97, the 97 team was tough. They had Kirk Maltby. Shit, and of course now I'm going to blank. I don't know, they had other tough people. Obviously Shanahan, he wasn't a goon, but he was tough. That was their first cup in a long time. The first of two back-to-back, 97 and 98. The 97 team You were tough. Arguing about omelets. At least back then, goons were around. Goons are not really in hockey anymore, or the NHL anyway. There's a couple guys you could call goons in the NHL, but no one even gets over 200 penalty minutes in a season anymore. Ultimart. Some Basque whacker. It's funny, something on Jeopardy I watched tonight, Basque was the answer, and I knew it. So it's like, not technically France, Basque. And Cujo, man, he's mentioning Cujo. Man, things line up. They watch Cujo in the Ghostbusters movie that I just watched. These things always happen to me. Only me, no one else. I don't know. Aykroyd is like a professional assassin. It's a pretty big reach for him, but I like it. It almost makes it seem more realistic. Yeah, so the NSA guys, they'll like bend the rules, but they won't break them. It's really important to him that Blank joins his little union. Look at the way I dress. Still having problems with my eyes tonight. God. Whoa, click, click. Ah, so now he's laying down the law here. That's like, I'm the only one. If you're not part of my organization, then we won't allow you to work. Fuck the brain hole. Nice job. I really like that you never actually see the guns in this scene. They're just pointing like bags at each other. Really freaking out. Need to talk to him. This seems like another 90s thing, too. This character is really being reliant on therapists. As I say that, I can't come up with any examples, but I'm sure I'm right. The 90s was the decade where people got in touch with their feelings. I mean, he blabs to himself a lot, which is a lot like me, so that's something I can relate to about this character. You're not even 30 yet. Don't worry too much about that. Clash poster again for just a second because of the way my brain works. That juxtaposition of the black, white, and red made me think it was like a Sin City poster. It's like, no way. There wasn't even such thing as a Sin City poster back then. Sin City existed, but not a movie. The me. Are you eating, Dr. Oates? Or Oatman, sorry, Oatman. Like a wrap, a quesadilla, I don't know. It's not the kind of food I eat. Won't kill anybody. Come on, I'll eventually have to kill someone. Damn eyes. Well, let's go to the reunion. They say in Final Fantasy VII, reunion, reunion. Sephiroth. And very nice neighborhoods, nice houses, big, clean, well-tended lawns. Obviously, a very nice suburb of Detroit. If it was even shot there, was it actually shot there? Only the aerial footage of Lakeshore Drive was actually shot in Grosse Pointe. The city of Grosse Pointe Farms did not allow the filmmakers to use any shots of Grosse Pointe South High School for the movie due to the presence of alcohol in the reunion scenes. Really? That's an interesting line to draw in the sand. I mean, it's a reunion. It's not high school students. They're adults who can legally drink alcohol. So, I don't know. I mean, the reunion I attended, which was not my own reunion, again, it was the class of 77 reunions, it was not actually at the school. It was like out, in the country at somebody's like bungalow or something. It was just like a barbecue type party thing out there. I enjoyed myself. Assignments like that were good work. Just talk to some people, eat a hot dog. Obviously, I did not drink. I was on the job, but I was young, but I could have legally. All right, yeah. So there's her father. He does not like him, obviously. He says, "You suck. I'm glad you left." Who is this actor? Mitchell Ryan. Have I seen you in things, Mitchell Ryan? You look like somebody I would have seen when you were young. Yes, I remember. He was McAllister in Lethal Weapon, the crooked general. Yes. This is 10 years after that, but he looks fairly similar. But yeah. He's in other stuff too, like Hot Shots Part 2, which I love. But that's what I recognize him from. He's the general in Lethal Weapon. I knew him from something. I'm not as good as my peers at recognizing actors. Usually I can recognize them by their voice, not by their face. But if they don't have a particularly distinctive voice, so if they change up like their face or they do their hair differently or something, I don't know. I'm not great at recognizing people visually. Welcome, class of '86. Get your '80s nostalgia on in 1997. Now I'm nostalgic for 1997. I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. So now we got the NSA guys. They're coming to the reunion and they've got lollipops for some reason. Yeah. As I say, they do want to kill him, but they just have to wait for him to cross a line so they can kill him. I know Poubelle's going to show up. Spoilers! Come on, the two of you are way better looking, I'm sure, than the rest of your high school classmates. But I'm not even curious. Like, I don't even need to know, like what my high school peers look like now. I don't give a shit. If they got fat or got rich or had kids. I do not care. And they shouldn't care about me. I'm not trying to say that. I had friends in high school, and they were cool. But, if all those people want to stay in touch on Facebook and pretend like they all really care, That's not me. PHS. That seems like a silly. I mean, I went to one of the very sort of rare high schools that was not called high school. I went to Sydney Academy. I went to, or as we called it, the Academy. I went to the Academy, you know. Everywhere else is this high school, that high school. Like our rivals, Riverview High School, RHS. So HS, HS. But we were not HS. We were the Academy. And they still are. Makes it sound like some prestigious school. It's not. Just ordinary, small, public high school. Although it did have the International Baccalaureate program, which is in high schools all over the world. And I took some courses for that. French, history, English. And this is quite the cliche. You go to your high school reunion, and of course there's some asshole that's like selling insurance or something that gives you their card. Oh, his instincts kicked in. Yeah. I went to my high school reunion. I can have a bunch of people gathering around going, oh man. And they're like, who are you? Wrestling? We're talking about wrestling? That's interesting. Like actual wrestling, not professional wrestling. Oh, so cool. Get toasted. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Somebody's in a... Yeah. Forgot about this. Who is this bitch? Somebody named Ann Cusack is in this movie, but I guess no relation to the other Cusacks. Oh, no, she is. Okay, so there's an Ann Cusack in here, too. Joan and John are her siblings. Okay. I don't know who she is, though. Ann Cusack is Amy. I don't know who that is. Is that the person they just talked to? I'm missing names here. I don't know. There's Jenny Slater. But I don't have much of a cast list here, so it doesn't tell me who Jenny Slater is. Oh well. Probably not important. But there's Piven again. Oh, that's an old story, as old as time. Cherchez la femme. They got blue stars on their name tags? Oh man, I would have had that maybe for being an IB student. Archery? They had archery? Huh. Ooh, the security guy is losing it. Under pressure. Obviously classic. You brought your baby. That's not cool. Don't bring your baby to your high school reunion. Don't bring your baby anywhere. That's my stance. I don't want to see babies out in public. More specifically, I don't want to hear them. If you have like a mute baby, then go nuts. But those are rare, sadly. So I guess it gives him a little perspective about the things he's missed out on. Again, this is only his 10-year high school reunion. He's not even like 30 yet. So he can't be too thinking, oh man, the life I've chosen, it's not too late, man. You can turn things around. Uh, Interesting use of Under Pressure. But it's such a great song, it fits anything, so I approve. And this is where she has a moment where she sees him looking at a baby, and women love that shit. I mean, he's just looking at the baby, he's not doing anything. Oh, okay, now he's giving it a bottle. Okay. How paternal. Blah. Oh, you got some tiny little 90s camera. That's like an auditorium. I remember this idiot with the mustache. Bob. Bob sells BMWs. He's better than you all. Bobby Beamer. Nice. Whoa, he's up in the stakes. He's talking about cocaine. Do some blow. Bob, what are you doing? Haha! That's good wordplay, Bob. Oh, Jenny's cool with him, though. It was an interesting auditorium, so there's like, weird layout. You got seats up above, and my high school just had like a gym. My high school didn't have an auditorium. Maybe it does now. They did a lot of work on it after I left. For instance, my high school didn't even have a cafeteria, really. It was in the basement, and it was sort of a cafeteria, but there were not nearly enough room or tables. And the basement was just set up really weird. Like they must have fixed that by now. Like the layout was very strange in the basement of our high school. But now on the first floor, I haven't been in there, but I've seen it from outside. There's a proper cafeteria on the first floor now. They must do something with the basement. But yeah, the basement was a really weird space. Not whatever whatever you're picturing is wrong. The basement was very odd the way it was divided into rooms and space. The main part of it was one big open space, but it had rooms going off it, and it narrowed in certain places. It was very strange. Ryan can back me up on this, as we went to the same high school. She thinks he lives in Arkansas. I missed that lie. And only now does she ask if he's married or. I know this song, but I can't place it. Things are going pretty well, Martin. I think it's all going to work out. This 80s dancing? It's really very bad. Which I mean is good in a way. Like when people like in movies like dance super well because it's choreographed and everything is kind of stupid because in real life it's not like that. Here we go. Poubelle's gonna show up. They're looking for a place to make out. Wow, that door's actually open. Nurse's station. Another thing my high school did not have. There was no nurse's office. No security guards or anything. Small high school. I mean, maybe this is not considered a big rich high school, but it looks that way to me. Whenever I see a high school in like American TV or movies. It's always one or two extremes. It's either like super fancy and awesome with all like really big and all these like amenities and stuff, like, or it's, you know, like High School High. You know, it's some hellhole. No, 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 like nothing in between. This is obviously on the higher end of the spectrum. A nice high school. What, this slapped him? Oh, I guess that's okay. It was just for fun. I'm going, what? Oh, what? Not just gonna make out here? Ah, yeah. This is funny. I remember this. So Piven enters. And she's like, "You must be this guy," because he's the only person that hasn't showed up. Pointer. Why do they? Why do they refer to him as Pointer? Oh no, he says that his eye is Sidney Feldman. That does not in any. By the way, that does. He doesn't speak much. That does not really sound like his voice. So is he putting on a voice there? Is he dubbed? Because I'm telling you, that's not what Benny or Kid is usually sounds like. He's like, "It is I, Sidney Feldman." I don't know. I can't do it, but I just mean if you're watching a movie and you heard him speak, that's not what Benny or Kid is sounds like. A lot of movies he doesn't talk at all. Like he doesn't talk in the Jackie Chan movies he's in. So this gives him a couple of something to do. A couple somethings to do. Yeah, trip it over my tongue here. Gives him some lines to say at least. You know, no one's gonna confuse him for a great actor or anything. But yes. Is this gonna like guy gonna admit that he sucks or something? I'm trying to remember what happens in this exchange here. You're being very rude, Bob. Hmm? Ooh, that's very mature. I just want to do some cocaine. Oh no, that's right. He's got these are my words. Oh shit, I forgot all about this. Imagine a guy who's about to hit you, and then you talk him down, and he takes out a poem and says, "These are my words." It's a really bad poem too, as you might expect. There's more. Yeah, but for a while. That's a good ending line. Powerful. For a while. There it is. There. I knew it was going to say, "You want to do some blow?" No, I don't. Yeah, it would be very bad. It would not be a good, ideal situation for Martin to do some blow right now. You wander off now and bother other people with your terrible poetry. Come on, Hubel! Or is it Sidney Feldman? That one in the green has one move. I mean, I guess I could do that. I shouldn't criticize anybody's dancing because I don't dance. And that's one of the great contradictions of my life. Because I describe myself as a free spirit in many ways, I think, which is a big red flag for women now. Because as I'm nearing 40, when you describe yourself as a free spirit, it means you don't have your life together and, you know, no prospects is pretty much what they think. But anyway, as a free spirit, I do all sorts of unconventional things and don't give a shit about what other people think. But I'm not a dancer and I won't dance. And there are even, you don't have to believe me, but there have been more than several occasions where some very pretty girls have asked me to dance and I've turned them down just because I can't do it. It's not in me. Here we go. Nice kick there. So obviously this is not prime Benny, but there's some good stuff here. It is somewhat realistic because it's very close quarters, right? So there's not really room for a lot of like crazy spin kicks or anything. So obviously he's given up some size against John Cusack. John Cusack's not a big guy or anything, but Benny Urquidez is a small guy. Nice, just simple side kick to the ribs there. Tries the high kick. There, I'll show you. Oh, yeah. There we go. See a little bit of Benny's skills there. Some ground fighting. Again, you gotta see Dragons Forever and Wheels on Meals to see what Benny can really do. And of course, you can again look up clips of him in his kickboxing career, because that's the end of him in this movie. Stabbed him with a pen or something. Well, that would be. Yeah, he's used that "it's not me" line a few times. It does not work in this situation. Oh my God! You killed. I already forget the fake name of it, or not the fake name, but of the student name. Okay, so she does find out before Piven, but now Piven's gonna go find out. Time stamp. An hour and 25, coming up to an hour 26, 50. There you go. That guy dead? Also, great song, not on the soundtrack. I looked it up. 99 Lift Balloons. Probably because you only hear it for 5 seconds. But I mean, it's such a. How'd he die? Oh, you know. I give Piven credit. He just rolls with it. It's more than 5 seconds. Song's still going. Where do they put him? Oh, we even get into the verses. I used to know a lot of the words in German, but now I can only really remember some. No, that's not it. I'm not going to try. I'll embarrass myself. But I remember a little bit of it. Goldfinger did a really good cover of that in the 90s, where they sing most of it in English, but they do a section of it in the German. Nina herself did an English language version, but everybody prefers the German, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because German is not a lyrical language. It's a harsh, awkward language. But I do agree that the song sounds better in German. Wow, they got like some cool Freddy Krueger boiler machine down there. They threw them in. Music's still going, but everybody's gone. Overall tables. That 80s dancing really took a lot out of them. Yeah, Debbie's saw you like standing over the body of a guy you just clearly killed. So she's not going to stick around, I'd say. Well, I told you, professional killer, remember? That'll go over well. Just tell her I'm sorry. Don't give her any context or explanation. Just be like, you saw me kill that guy, or the aftermath of me killing that guy. I'm sorry. Man, everybody else is acting like they saw a body too. They all seem so bummed. one of the rare instances of somebody in a hotel, although I guess it works more with a motel. Maybe it's because it's not like a small motel. Like, think of like every scene in a movie where characters are like in a motel room. If they're watching TV, it's always some like old cartoon from like the 60s at the latest. But this time it's just some random shit, and now we don't see it. Well, he listens to the message that Oatman leaves him. Never heard that name, Oatman, but I'm sure it exists. Oh, it's him calling him, saying he's firing him. You'd be glad he's fired. Be a relief. I don't remember this bit. I don't know who's going to show up here. I know, obviously, eventually he's going to see Debbie and talk to her about things, but I cannot imagine her coming to him now. But what do I know? She's already acted in many ways that a real life person wouldn't act, so what we got? It's her, yeah. I guess she's just really curious. She's willing to give him a chance and say, why did you kill that person? He's going to kill you, right? Yeah. There you go. Okay, let's go. We can be together then. No, wasn't joking. People joke about the horrible things they don't do. They don't do them. It's absurd. Moral flexibility. I mean, I can believe in that. It's a fucked up world. I can believe that they give you a weird psych exam, and if you're fucked up enough, they're just like, yeah, we can use you to murder people. Certainly in the States. I don't know, man. We see like Navy SEALs and stuff and give them big standing ovations at sporting events, but I wonder what those guys get up to, really. It's all in the service of your country, I'm sure. Not in his case. You get to like it. It's better than having a real job, I get that. Beats 9 to 5 punching a clock. Yeah, he says, I'm not a psychopath. Yeah, she's saying psychopath kills her now. I kill for money. That didn't sound right. Yeah. Trust me, plenty of psychopaths would kill for money. It's not like psychopaths don't like money. They do. Yeah, the more he talks, the more he's digging himself a hole here. A grave, as it were. I'm part of your romantic new beginning, right? Well, obviously she is. It's even before you knew about the professional killer part. That's kind of the angle here, and you seem to be all for it. Again, I get why finding out that he's a professional killer would put a damper on things or change them completely. But I think even if he wasn't, just her being part of his romantic new beginning is one of those things that really doesn't fly in real life. Again, they show it off in movies, like women. They want to be chased, they want to be pursued, they want, they don't want to see you again. There she goes. You don't get to have me. Accuses her of overreacting. I mean, for most of the time, I did not agree with anything she said or did. Now, here we go. Marcella, that's Joan Cusack. She's burning the place down because I guess she knows they're fucked. Smash up those 90s hard drives. Oof. Got some heft to it. So. Monies. This makes burning the office down worth it. So is that the assignment? Losing track of things here. He has an assignment he wasn't going to do, but now he's curious to see what it is. I think because it's like a red file. I think that's called on. Yeah, it's like red files of people he murders, targets, whatever. What we see. I don't remember this. I don't know what he's reading. Dumb fucking luck. Okay. Yeah. Miss what's going on here. Yeah, the target is her father. That's right. Because he is supposed to testify against the client. Okay, that's why. Right. And of course, here we got Grosser trying to horn in on the deal and do it himself. So now we know what's going on. He's supposed to kill the father, and he's going to protect the father, obviously, against Grosser and his squad. But it's interesting. He said he was hired to kill him, but I mean, he always said like the people he's hired to kill had it coming or blah blah. This guy doesn't have it coming. He's a good man. He was just going to testify against a criminal. So I mean, this is the first time he's ever had. Yeah. So yeah, it's all going to finish here at the house. It's a pretty cool house, big house. I don't remember if they say what he does, but obviously he's pretty wealthy. We're at 136. It's only about 10 minutes to go, so let's do it. Why does everyone think it's personal? I don't know. I think that's the natural reaction. Although I guess in reality, it often isn't personal, which is one of the sad things about things like I'm not going to get into it, like these shootings that have been happening for so long, obviously. How indiscriminate it is. It's not about killing a specific person. It's just about racking up a body count. Very disturbing. I will say, like, it is hard to talk about this or a movie like the last movie I did, the John Woo movie, because I suppose they glorify gun violence in a way. But I mean, I don't blame movies for any of this. Then that's the other thing. Like, people are like, don't blame the guns, blame violent movies and video games. Yeah, fuck up. But anyway, here we go. Nice house showdown here. Pretty well done. A lot of movies end this way, like Witness. How many we got? So we got Grosser coming in, and he's got 3 guys with him, I think. One's already in the house, and he's dead. Frying pan and finished. We got nice juxtaposition here. Some of the lines. Man, you're really open here. So that's 2 down. People don't crash through windows when they get shot. Bullets don't propel you through windows. Even if you get blasted with a shotgun, it does not. Anyway, I get it. It's visually pleasing in a movie, the impact. But people that get shot just slump down. They don't go flying. The popcorn thing. He really likes that. We're not down to just grocery yet, though. Isn't there at least one more guy? And there he goes. I have no idea what Grocer is quoting. You should be glad he's a professional. It's the only thing that might save you. I'll give Grocer credit. He's not at all fazed by the fact that all his backup is dead. He's confident in his skills. I'll give him that. More John Woo stuff. Dual handguns, blasting at each other, but not actually hitting anybody. Lots of diving around. This stuff always works for me, though. It's good. Do that. And I will say, it's a sort of unexpected finish here. The way, I mean, obviously, we expect our. Of course. I mean, obviously, our. Oh, and these. This is great. Those guys finally show up. We forget about them. And together, they off them. Forgot about that. It's pretty funny in a way. It's like, oh yeah, those two, and they're just unceremoniously dispatched together. Oh, it's like Face Off. What a predicament! Yeah, this is pretty creative. Yeah, I don't think you could see that coming. The TV to the head. I mean, even better than in Scream, because in Scream it's dropped. This he smashes him in the head with it. I like that. I think it's a satisfying conclusion. Instead of shooting him, he does something sort of unexpected. He really is out. And I like that they quip right to the end. They're trying to kill each other, but they're quipping the whole time. And a cool ending here. End on a joke. What we got here? They're hiding in the tub together. She actually shoots at him for a second. I want to warn her. Oh, you got my blessing. It's a good ending line. I like it. You got my blessing. Assuming, like, when the cops look into all this, they somehow don't, find you at fault for some crime. But no, here we go. So technically not the last line, because we got her little voiceover here on the radio. Do. So, it's not like an amazing movie or anything, but it's a cool movie. I don't know. I like its tone. I mean, it's well cast. I think the actors, hit their marks pretty well. It's a good role for somebody like John Cusack, particularly at that time of his career. Oh, look at that. And I get High Fidelity as a recommendation. Love High Fidelity. See our show on that. Got the DVD over there. That's definitely my favorite John Cusack thing is High Fidelity. But I like this movie quite a lot. Satisfying movie. I'm so strung out. As a guy, I just might stop to check you out. Well, yeah. No, it was good. Satisfying to see it. It's been quite a few years since I seen it all the way through. So I remember most of it pretty well. There wasn't much that I'd forgotten. Little things here and there. Still holds up. Still a fun movie, I think. Just something nice to fill the time with. Like I said, I had this time since it was supposed to be an episode of movie discussion pocket dimension. But since I had the time, I thought watch something fun and just do a commentary. I mean, obviously, I like doing commentaries with other people, but there just wasn't really time to drag anybody else into it. And everybody knows me; I can blab on endlessly anyway. I don't need somebody else. So maybe this isn't the ideal way to watch Grosse Pointe Blank for most people, but you should give it a shot because I think my commentary is worth something. We'll stop there. So keep it. No reason to drag it out. Thanks a lot, especially to Holiday Styles, who's the only person who is, I think, around consistently. Some people seem to drop in and out and be viewing for a little while. And they were like, oh, Cole's by himself. We'll just go. It's probably what it was. I don't know. Or maybe they don't like the movie. I don't know. But good to see you anyway, Holiday Styles. You've been a supporter of stuff that I've been involved in for a long time, and I appreciate that. This, of course, is just a silly little live commentary for just a fun movie. But yeah, I really like this movie. I think it holds up. I still like it as much as I did way back when. I think a lot of it has to do with John Cusack, of course, being right for the role. Jeremy Piven annoys me in so many movies. He's actually quite well used here. I like his character. I mean, he doesn't have much to do, but he's fine. Minnie Driver's charming, I suppose. And yeah, a really sort of different sort of role for Dan Aykroyd. I like it. He's like the main bad guy. And I mean, it's not like he's ever really menacing or anything. And that's part of his thing. It's like he's a killer, but right to the end, he's quipping and joking. And I don't know. I sort of dig that. A little bit different. But Grosse Pointe Blank, 1997. So I'll finish up here. Things have slowed down. There was stuff that I had planned, with other people, and that's been gummed up. For my series of live commentaries of various animated movies, with Jess Graham, we're still doing those, but we've had some scheduling conflicts. We can't really find time where we're both sort of available. But we will figure that out because we definitely have more we want to do. As far as the movie discussion pocket dimension goes, we try to do that every Tuesday or Wednesday, and of course it has not been that smooth, but I swear we're going to get some in a row soon. You can blame this one on Jay. Hey, I'm here. He couldn't do so. It's Jay's fault. But yeah, we're gonna do Life Aquatic next week, which we talked about possibly doing for years. And I always said maybe it wasn't a good idea because while plenty of the movies we've done on the channel are movies that I really like and have strong feelings about, like Life Aquatic's on another level. Like it is among my favorite movies ever. It is top 20. It's top 15. Like I love that movie. So it's really hard to imagine talking about it critically. I feel like I'll just be gushing the whole time. But we've done like I said, we've done lots of movies that I have strong feelings for and but nothing on that level except maybe Fooly Cooly, which ironically is our only non-movie episode, which is technically an anime OVA limited series, 6 episodes. So that's the only other thing comparable that gives me the level of joy that I get from Life Aquatic, which I just adore. So I don't know. I'll try my best to restrain myself when we do it and not just go over the top praising and gushing and everything, because we do try to, be critical about the movies. Obviously, we praise the movies when we like them, but, we try to be objective in some ways. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so that's coming up. As for other stuff, I don't know. Like I said, there was something I know I'm going to do a live commentary with Jamie. She and I got together finally a couple months ago. Even that had its problems. She had some sort of technical issues with the power. So if you go to my channel, you can see that our chatting with Jamie is split into 2. But I mean, when it was on, it was working pretty well. But anyway, so hopefully that was an intro, so we could get to know each other a little better, feel each other out. And I thought it worked pretty well. So that was sort of to help us get a feel for it so that we could do something like a live commentary. And we have a few ideas, particularly some fantasy movies we'd like to do. So I will start bugging her about that because I mean, I think since it's my channel, she's sort of leaving it up to me to schedule, and I haven't really been on it. So I'm gonna get proactive about that. So there's that too. And beyond that, who knows? Last week was the first time in a long time. I usually don't do those really late night ones. Usually Jay does a late night thing on a Wednesday. And we'd done movie discussion Pocket Dimension, and then just a couple hours later I came back and I was up pretty much all night on just a ridiculous stream. We watched a crazy movie and then things got really weird and stuff, but I enjoyed it. But I can't really do that too often because of the time difference and things, and because of my sleep issues. But it was fun to do, but I can't make that a regular thing. I think they're okay because, you know, usually there's 4 or 5 of them without me anyway, so they're fine. But I mean, I do enjoy that when I get the chance to. So that's enough. Shut up. So Grosse Pointe Blank, 1997, cool flick. Totally recommend it. You know, if you are watching this without having watched the movie or catching the end of this just now, it's a cool movie. Holds up pretty well. You know, it's no classic or anything like that, but I definitely like it. Maybe I'd say one of the more underrated movies of the 90s. Certainly one I enjoy a lot. You know, I've done a few 90 movies that I like, including Empire Records, which I love. But Empire Records does have like a cult following. Grosse Pointe Blank, I don't think really has a cult following, and I'm not even saying it deserves one, but it deserves a watch, and it deserved this. So I was glad to do it. So thanks to anybody joining me, or who's joining me in the future. So that'll do. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon on this channel or another one. I'll be around. Thanks so much. I'll